I know that I don't understand. I know that I don't know. I take you by my hand, but I don't know where to go.
What it is, welcome to AltNews Tonight, where we talk about the news and mix in some other interesting tidbits, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. I'm your host, Jeran, and with me, as always, my co-host, Nathan Stoltman. Nathan, what's going on?
It's the Trumpocalypse.
It is.
I would say.
It is.
That's the main thing that's going on right now. I was totally, I predicted it.
It's the end of the world as we know it.
Kill all the Nazis. Kill all the Nazis.
Oh, boy. Hasn't it been fun? What happened to free speech?
Well, that's the funny thing in my interview. Oh, I thought you were for free speech. I don't know. I don't know what and then they're there at these protests. You know, I'm going to do another piece on the protests and that they're organized, I believe. Sorry, I already lost track of my train of thought, but sorry, I lost track.
Jared. No problem.
What was I on?
You were talking about free speech, and you're going to do a piece on, I think, what happened at UC Berkeley.
Oh, well, yeah, about these kids and these, there's agitators in there, and it was reported on CNN that these kids dressed up like ninjas, you know, are starting stuff. And the other thing that concerns me, sorry, this is what I was getting into, and sorry to the audience. I've been, you know, I got stuff going on.
They're very forgiving people.
Oh, good. That's good. Thank goodness. So the problem is the language they use. And I was thinking to myself, Susan Rice, Obama's ambassador in the Obama administration, who was going to be recommended for, what was it? Was it Secretary of State? She was actually, I think she was actually going to be nominated for state. I can't remember. But Susan Rice tweeted out something or retweeted something that said they're putting a Nazi on the National Security Council and referring to Steve Bannon. Mm-hmm. And I thought, you know, calling somebody a Nazi who, you know, Steve Bannon, as far as we can tell, Steve Bannon, who used to be an editor at Breitbart, or the main guy at Breitbart, they say is a white nationalist, and they're calling him a Nazi. But the only thing I found that he said anti-Semitic is that his wife, or his ex-wife, in a deposition for their divorce trial, said that when they were looking at schools, that he said that he didn't want his kid going to school with a bunch of whiny Jews. And that was kind of the extent of his anti-Semitism. Mm-hmm. And they call him a Nazi, right? And they call him a Nazi. And then my point is, then you go to this rally and they say, kill all the Nazis, kill all the Nazis. And there's signs that say alt-right equals Nazi. And then the guy I have a funny thing. Actually, you know what? I can show something that's pretty funny.
All right.
I made some art. Hold on. Let me take a picture of it. This is kind of the theme of what I'm working on. So I thought it was really messed up. Like, I think you could almost say that what they're doing is hate speech and it's inciting violence. You Absolutely. Know, calling somebody a Nazi who worked at Breitbart being a place, Andrew Breitbart being Jewish, the other co-founder being Jewish, the freaking thing having been founded in Israel, and meanwhile they're Nazis and white nationalists and stuff. Let me.
What would be
do
the definition of Nazi? What would that be?
Yeah, that's the great question. Here, I'm going to share my entire screen. There. Here, look at this. This is what I made, and this is some of the signs. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. So these are signs from the event I was at. These were really there, and I just cut them out. If I would punch a neo-Nazi. I tell you what, Hank down there. Alt-right is Nazism in disguise, and that's Milo up there. Next to Susan Rice, Ambassador Rice. That's Milo, and then this is Steve Bannon. I put a Hitler mustache on him. But, when you're using that kind of language, then in my video, then you get the kind of violence we saw at California, Berkeley, with violence playing in the background. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And it's so sad because they're calling, they're shutting down free speech and then calling others fascists, which is just
that. Well, that's the thing. And the weird thing is at this, so I was at the protest. For everybody who doesn't know, I was at the protest the day before the UC Berkeley protest.
Right.
My protest looked, well, maybe I should show a scene from that. My protest was a lot more tame.
Much more.
Actually, what's that? Go ahead.
I said much more.
Much more tame. Actually, here we go. I'll have to make sure the volume goes through the right thing. But this is what I was going to play in my thing here.
Kill every Nazi! Kill Nazis? I don't know. Free speech, right? I mean, yeah. Tonight's about free speech. I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want, man.
I'm so confused.
Chill. Look, there's the signs. See?
Huh. So I don't get
Right.
it. So you have somebody there who's saying kill all the Nazis and then saying free speech, but they're there protesting against somebody who's speaking because they don't like what they have to say.
The thing is I can't figure out what they're doing, and
don't you think this is like orchestrated by the government, by the left? Because
go ahead.
Well, how else do you? I mean, when these cops backed down yesterday, I couldn't believe it. It's like it seems like when the cops should stand up and do what they should do as cops, they don't, and when they absolutely should step down, they don't. So it's like they can never get their shit right. And this is one case yesterday. I mean, you've got people attacking a school, throwing. That's when you need to come in there and you clean up that crowd. They're no longer peacefully protesting. That is now destruction of property and person. They're going to hurt somebody. So it just baffles me. That's when the cops go in and hide behind the glass doors and don't do anything. But when, it's just, it's crazy. This world is upside down. Yeah.
And maybe we should play what this lady said because it's all it was pretty interesting stuff, especially considering what happened the next day. Especially with the violence I saw at Cal Berkeley. Do you have video of some of the
I do. I have
violence
it ready
from Cal Berkeley? Let's take a look at that.
You want to play her first or the Berkeley first?
Okay. Whatever you think.
Go ahead.
I just wanted people to know what happened.
I'm on your screen, so we'll go ahead and play that.
Okay, we'll do that. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to show you, how serious the protest was. That starts, I think that's this one. Let's see. No. Okay. This is them burning the Confederate flag. They have to burn the Confederate flag, and that's okay. Meanwhile, burning an American flag is not. Gosh darn.
Makes no sense. You're there.
This is it right here. So this is where they're at the, this is when they go marching. So down here, and then you can see how serious it is. I mean, look at the kids.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is funny. Look at this guy's sign. It says feminism is cancer crossed out healing.
Oh boy.
Do Do you think that guy's in there as a prank?
I have no idea why you would.
He's
have that
got to
sign.
be, right?
Yeah, it doesn't fit.
And this other sign, I think it must be covered by something. You see how the other sign says "Make Racists"? I don't know how it can say that. Hold on. Wait. Oh, those guys might be there as a prank. I mean, do you see those?
Well,
two
none of the
signs?
people that got arrested yesterday even went to the school. So,
Well, that's
why
the
I think these
thing.
are
When they
input.
interview this kid, he says he didn't go to the school here either.
Right. So I don't know where these guys are coming from or why they are there. And I just don't
Make
understand a
racists.
public school that, this country was founded on the First Amendment. So
Right.
if Milo's coming by your school to talk and you don't like what he has to say, then you sit your ass at home and watch Jeopardy.
Or protest. No, it's okay. Come out.
Sure.
Protest. Don't. But for some reason, these kids are coming out to blow shit up, and I don't know what. I think they're just. I think that the liberals or the people that lost are going through the part of the healing phase. They're going through the rage phase.
Mhm.
They're going through the anger phase. And they don't know what to do, so they're just lashing out, I guess.
'Cause it would've
And I
been-
think it's organized.
'cause
I
it would've
also
been
do
so
think
much-
it's organized,
Yeah,
and
me
they're
too.
agitators. That was one thing I was going to point out from this rally is look at the kids. They're all, they're not trying, but there are just a few leaders, that they follow,
Mhm.
and that's how these kids can get led into this baloney. And I think agitators are.
Deportation, up, with education, down, with deportation, up, with education, down, with deportation.
Like there are people, these handlers kind of, this guy in the sweater, see how his clothes don't fit in? He looks kind of like he's a roughneck compared to these other kids.
Yeah.
And then these other kids, look at them. They're not trying to do anything. That's why if I had known Berkeley was going to freaking light up,
That would have been fun to be at.
I should have gone. And I was going to, I was
we'll
going
watch
to come up
that
there.
tape.
I didn't even know he was speaking. But anyway, so this
Here's
is
what I have on
my
that.
point is the kids didn't seem that wound up to me. So when I saw Cal Berkeley, I was like, that's got to be organized. Oh, and I saw that one picture where there's the fire and they're holding the banner behind it. And the banner says what? This is war or something?
I didn't see that one.
Oh, you haven't seen that photo?
Well, I watched it
Oh.
last night, but I don't remember seeing that particular.
I didn't see anything. I was going to come up there last night to
Right.
to the city, but then it was raining. I was going to come to the Bay Area. I was going to try to do some stuff up there.
And then where it got ugly was they started actually going after the metal railings and then throwing them into the glass windows. And again, the cops
Oh, it
had
looked
gone.
crazy.
Yeah, the cops had gone inside and behind the glass, and I knew right then they were going to cancel it. I said, "Well, now they're going to cancel it because they basically let the crowd get out of control and then canceled the speaking engagement." Which I just don't understand cops. I just don't get it. I mean, when they should be doing their job, which is protecting that school, which is protecting the people that were there. You can't. You can let people peacefully protest, but when you go back and look at Trump when he was elected, and you had people that were peacefully protesting, who were not doing anything, and the cops were out there with their shields and marching, get back, and launching bombs in the crowd, and it's just crazy. It's like that. Those people were peacefully protesting. Then here you have people who are destroying public property, who are going. Throwing fire bombs at the school roof, and then they go inside and cower away. I mean, I'm baffled. I don't know where to go from there.
Wow, I'm looking at it. It's very disturbing. A lot of things. But my first thoughts always when I see something like this is that people don't really act like this. Like they don't do this out of their own volition. That if somebody who is of normal moral fiber gets tied up in this, it's because of other people winding them up. But wow, you see some really violent reactions. I just wonder, like, I don't even know what they're violent about. The cops aren't even in their face. they're just raging at, that they're just lighting shit on the world on fire, like the Joker.
Yeah, exactly. And it just doesn't make sense to me. I just don't get it because.
Do you think it's real? Do you think it's? But do you think it's?
Well,
because
it looked like
I had a big fight with Jay today. Jay thinks that people are really this wound up. She said her sister is wound up.
Well, the group that came out and started to do the kind of firebombing and the throwing of those people were all dressed in black, and they were, all with masks on, and they were the ones that were instigating the huge problems. The people that were there that seemed to be peacefully protesting, and we're going to pull up a little scene here so everybody can see. But the people who seem to be...
What's a super easy way to tell that your bed is off?
The people that seemed to be peacefully protesting were fine. And then all of a sudden this group in black got there and just basically started to cause problems, and the police cowered away. And I don't think people were that wound up. I don't think people were throwing fire bombs because this guy was speaking. It looked like there was a group in black that was there, and the cops were told to let him do damage to the point where they had to cancel the speaking engagement. It's terrible.
Did you see people getting punched in the face and stuff though? Here, I have video actually.
Do you? I'll switch.
Here, I have video. I'll big screen it. Let me know when you see it.
Yep.
You see everything?
We're good.
Okay. Warning, graphic. There, see that?
Wow. And who did that?
I mean, that was out of note. I don't even know. I couldn't see. Here, I'll show you again. Even though I don't like looking at it, just see. Oh! Yeah, it's hard to see. Punch. People just getting punched in the face.
I don't get to just make a statement by being here. I think the protesters are doing the same. And props to them for the ones who are doing it non-violently, but I think that's a very rare thing to do.
Oh, here, I can turn it up. Sorry. Oh, somebody
Pepper
just
spray.
got maced. Yeah, and who maced them? That's what I want.
Because I don't even see any cops out there.
It's not a cop. I think it's just somebody macing somebody.
See, I think it's those people in black.
In an interview.
There was a group in black hoods and black clothing, all covered up. They were the ones that were taking these metal barricades and actually heaving them into the glass windows.
What are they doing here? I mean, they're just beating people.
Jesus Christ. No, dude, I want you to get your shots. I'll find it. Okay.
And then there's the fucking rainbow, satanic lighting behind them.
Yeah,
That's just community here.
terrible.
The KKK stuff. I mean, what are they talking about?
I don't even know. Do they even know that?
Meanwhile, they're burning stuff.
I would love to interview these people and ask them if they have any idea what they're doing.
Rainbow.
It's just ridiculous. They don't get it. I mean, I'm all for free speech. I'm all for protesting, but you have to keep it within reason, and this certainly wasn't. And it's
Look at this.
Yeah, you could see it escalating. This is the part I was watching here live, and you could just see it keep escalating. And you're like, where are the damn police? This is the kind of thing.
Where are the liberals like saying, "Hey guys, cut it out,
knock it off"?
Like what? What are we even?
It was embarrassing for the cops because they actually were on the front steps there in front of the building.
Like, what's that? Like, what is?
Yeah,
what
just
is
throwing
that?
things on fire, and
throw,
then
throw dynamite at the bank. I mean,
yeah, and then the cops started to wander away, and then they went inside. It's like it made them look pathetic because
it's
that's
like a
what you
mix
need to
of,
stop.
Oh God!
See over there, the cops are over there in the corner hiding. It was pathetic. It really was. I mean, it's just. And then, like I said, at the election, everything I watched as far as the inauguration, people were being completely peaceful, and these cops were yelling and screaming and throwing smoke bombs and marching with their shields. And I'm like, how does nobody see what's going on here? Oh boy!
I heard Standing Rock got burned down, or Dabu 7 was saying Standing Rock can't because they gave the easement for the pipeline.
Right.
Trump, man, it is the Trumpocalypse.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to get any help either. I mean, if such thing existed. I mean,
What's that?
I just said he's not going to get any help either. I mean, they're going to. They want him to fail, so that's what we should
and
expect.
it's necessary. I'm glad that they're going after him on this war crime, but it's a little ironic that Obama's been killing innocent people with drones for 8 years, thousands, and then Trump's first mission, it's just a total slaughterhouse, and now the news reports on it. Finally,
Yeah, I'm unsure if do you think that Trump knows that Orlando was a hoax and that San Bernardino was a hoax?
I don't know. The people around him and he himself are so vehemently anti-Muslim. I don't know if they really believe it, but because if it's not them who know that it was a hoax, then who does?
I think
who's the group that beyond the U.S. president that's pulling off stuff and convincing the president that it's real? I don't know.
I feel like this is what's going to happen, and I don't know if I'm way off base here. It's just what it looks like to me. It looks like Obama knew they're hoaxes, obviously. Orlando, San Bernardino, he knew that. So what he does is he puts these events out to make Muslims look bad so that Trump comes in. Trump says, we got to get rid of these Muslims, which is going to cause problems all over the place. And then what's going to eventually happen is there's going to be Obama in 2020 coming back to save the world, and he'll get reelected. I mean,
I don't think we'll get that far. I mean, I'm hopeful that Trump is the destruction of.
You think he'll make it all 4 years?
Things always happen more slowly than I think. I just see the whole system it collapsing under its own weight, but I guess that takes longer than I always think it does.
Right.
I think as far as Trump, I think it's kind of like there are different factions,
I think so too.
Of the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in this, Zionist kind
mm-hmm.
of, I don't know, totalitarian. I don't know how his theory in the end is any different. They're all going toward the same state.
Right.
He still wants a police state. It's just different than what Clinton was putting in and what Obama put in. But
I know he's got an executive order regarding internet security coming out in a day or two.
All I can say is everybody, you got the only defense against this is for as many people to know about it before it happens, because if it happens that's it, that's it, whatever happens. So as many people know about it as possible so that it can't be, the idea can't go away.
I can't picture him getting through 4 years. I just can't. No. Well, I don't know. I mean, unless he can somehow pull an Erdy on and get a new constitution, I mean, really, I don't know what's going on. Like, how can he get away with these when did a president get the authority to just write the law? Well, ever since they've started doing that, but yeah. And then what difference does it make if you just get a new guy comes in and then it's a dictatorship? I mean, it's not at all a democracy. It
was anyway.
Right, exactly.
People didn't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really great. I mean, Trump needed to win, so I have no regrets about that. And I said not to vote for him, but
Hillary would have been worse. But
what's that?
So Hillary would have been worse.
Well, and regardless, people would have been sleeping through it. You know
exactly.
We need all these enraged liberals.
Maybe we needed the wake up
oddly
call.
Enough, because they're the ones. Hopefully, they're the ones who are like, call your senator, tell him Steve Bannon's a Nazi. On my Facebook feed, I'm saying. I'm like, well, if we can get those people mad about the right thing, then they'll do the work for us. We don't like doing that stuff. It makes us feel bad. People call us jerks.
Talk about fake news and how this is getting passed off as real and people need to see it. I just want to real quick look at the Melbourne incident, and you go ahead and tell people what you found or what others have found here. And again, the reason we're bringing this back up and be done with it is you need to know that this kind of thing is a hoax, that just like we spoke about a week or two ago when we talked about San Bernardino, and I'm going to do a video on it that's more in depth, just showing exactly why you basically have no other option but to realize that it was a staged final scene And from that, we're also going to look at the Omar Mateen, who was from the Orlando hoax. And so it should start adding up that what the news is putting out there is complete and total garbage. So anyway, here's this video here, and I'll kind of play it a little bit slower so you can see what's going on.
Okay, great. Yeah, you got it.
So go ahead and tell people what we're looking at here.
Okay. Oh, good. You can pull that up on your screen too. You get, that's your mouse, huh?
No,
So
that's from the video.
Oh, that's in the video. Okay. 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 Because I have my.
But I think you found this first.
There's a guy. There's a guy where the yellow circle keeps ending up. Not there. Not there.
I can
but
write
there's
a
a
little
guy running up. A guy in blue. You know where he's coming from.
Mm-hmm. I'll stop
not
it this
yet.
time.
Yeah, when he puts the circle on it,
Okay.
that's where the guy in blue is going to come running up. So he'll stop it at the right spot. Who is this? PK's? Because I have an update about PK too.
This is
so
Russian
right in
vids.
there. There's a guy in blue right there. Right there. There's that's the guy in blue where the mouse is. He. I think he got out of one of the unmarked cars, possibly. That's behind the one that's there at the light. So that's an unmarked car there. That gray one. Is so okay. So there's the guy in blue. He's actually running up, and then the first thing he does is raises. Oh, he makes a steering wheel motion there.
Right.
It's like a turn. It's like a back and forth motion, and then after he goes by, he raises his arms up like that to make sure he got his attention, maybe, or to make sure he got everyone's attention.
Right.
Maybe to cue the skateboard guy to walk in front so that nobody would come through. Now the guy stops, looks for his cue, I think, and sees the guy in blue.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see. And then from the other angle, you can see he actually gestures. He's like, which way? Like he points. And
Right
like
there.
here he's pointing and asking, and see the guy in blue? Right there.
Right.
Giving
Go
him
and
like
flip it.
the...
And look at all these cop cars. These are all the unmarked cars, 3 identical like Nissan Altimas or something.
Yeah, and they finally turn on their sirens and then follow him slowly down the street. It's so bogus.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you don't have orchestrators. Same thing we saw with the Fort Lauderdale airport shooting when we showed that with the ATF guy with the ATF jacket. So, basically, why don't you tell people what's going on with PK too? Before
we move on, PK, I watched his video today. He's in Melbourne, and obviously this is the kind of thing he specializes in. His video today, his PK Truth channel got a strike, so he can't do anything on it, I think, for a second. And so he's got his PK22 channel up. And I asked him if he wants a platform to say what's going on, he can come on my show. And if you wanted to invite him on ours, same thing, just to get him some exposure. He says he had a journalist call him.
Geez, you know what? Explain that one more time. I might not have had that on the screen.
No. I'm not doing anything on the screen. It's okay.
No. I mean, I might not have had the Melbourne thing on the screen. We were just talking about it, so I'm going to bring it up again. We'll do it quickly.
I saw it.
I saw it. See it? Or was it on the left side?
It was on the right side.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah, I saw it. It was on the right side.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it was just like that.
Okay, good.
That's how it looked the whole time. He covered it, and he said, so he got a call from a media outlet. First of all, he said he saw a crisis actor, a taxi cab driver who ended up being hailed as a hero, a taxi cab driver who I guess works that taxi stop. And he saw him when he went and walked the scene with a few friends to see, exactly how it all went down.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently he interviewed somebody too. Anyway, he said he saw the taxi driver, started basically cussing him out, calling him a disgrace, saying, how can you, a traitor and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he didn't get that on camera, of course. But then he got called by something like the Jewish News or something. And he told them to F off. And apparently they called his wife too.
Huh.
So he was worried and stuff.
And then he got talked to by the cops or something? I mean, that's what Russian Vid said. I didn't quite.
It didn't sound that way to me from the video I saw today. It didn't sound like he got talked to by the cops. He made it sound like it was real bad, but in fact, it was basically one incident. That wasn't initiated by him himself, which is seeing the crisis actor. But it was one reporter who called him and his wife, and he was spooked.
Okay, and then we're just going to look real quick because I had 2 or 3 emails from people asking what we were talking about as far as Omar Mateen went. So just to bring this up, this is the film from the BP oil. What was the name of it again?
The big.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The big fix.
No,
What it's called?
I don't know. I can't remember.
I can't remember the name of it. But this is Omar here. So it's just he's an actor, and then the movie itself. And let me see. I think it did.
But the thing is he's not supposed to be an actor.
No, he's not.
It's supposed to be a documentary, right?
Right, but I mean, and if you look at the IMDb page, people have shown that he was listed as an actor in that film, and then was removed after.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm listed as an actor on some of my YouTube videos, though. To be fair.
Me too.
Yeah.
Which would be weird if then I was removed after I was in some sort of government hoax or something.
Suspicious.
Yeah. So we got that going on. So those things are in the news, and anything else that you have for right now?
Yeah, there are a lot of things going on. Just the invasion, going back to what Trump is doing, just the Navy SEAL thing. The mainstream media is really covering it hard. Oh, and I was going to show people that Ben Swann exists. We want to give people the Ben Swann update.
Oh yeah, please.
Right?
Yep, definitely.
So this is from their live stream. You see it? Okay.
Yep.
I think you should see it. This is him at around 5 p.m. Oh, shit. Timed out. Oh, mother F. Well, anyway, that's him. That was him at 5 p.m. today. So he's alive and well. The only thing is he's not saying what he's doing. All his social media is out.
And today was the day that was the one that he put on his Twitter back, 3-4 days ago, right?
Yeah. Oh, and I do have something new on that. I do have something new from my video. Oh, this is weird. Okay. He changed this symbol on his thing.
So if people don't know, Ben Swann is the one that did a little piece on Pizzagate, and it was kind of the most mainstream news that it got, or the most mainstream credit that it got, or credibility. Everybody
it was
else
it was the first time on network television, even though it was local, right. CBS. It was the first time any network carried anything with as much where he actually went into the details.
Right, because everyone else just passed it off as fake news. It's a hoax. It's a bullshit story. But he actually looked into the symbols and the logos and the went much deeper than anybody else went mainstream wise. And then
totally
just about 3-4 days ago, he tweeted basically saying that on February 2nd, he would be back on his news station and that all of his social media accounts would go dark and not to worry about him. Something like that.
Right. And I have all that stuff here.
Okay.
The thing I'm going to show you is that picture, but let me show you. Let's see if this is the original tweet. Okay, so I have 2 things to show you then. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can you see this reasonably well? This page is going dark. Okay. Okay. So there's this post. This is his original Facebook post. One thing he said, and this is a theory of someone who emailed me. One thing he said in the Facebook post that he didn't say in some of the other ones is, we've been building this project for 6 years. And those who have come to know me, I hope you have also come to trust me. So he talks about a 6-year project, which may be referring to his website and the reality check thing. There's some news that they were saying maybe he was focusing too much. This is kind of hearsay, but from another video on Ben Swann, that he was focusing too much on his national audience and not enough on the Atlanta audience, that it became too much about him, in other words. Does that make sense? And then that ISIS project got canceled. Anyway, let me show you what I meant to show you. Okay, take a look at this. Okay, take a look at that. Okay, can you see? I'll make them bigger.
I can see them both.
Okay, there, that's big. That's better. I just want the people to be able to see. Okay, so can you see this symbol right here under Feb 1, 2017 on the right-hand picture?
I can't see what the symbol is, but you can.
But you can see a symbol, right?
Yep. Oh, now I see it. Okay. Yeah, it's like a. Whoa.
Okay, that's it right there. Okay,
Uh-huh.
that's about as clear as it gets, and you don't have that over here. Okay, so one came after the other, and someone said, and I thought the same thing, but I didn't want to just make a wild claim because you can see even with the pixels and stuff, you can't tell what the hell it is.
Right.
But it does look like a phoenix, or that kind of rising. The bird with the wings coming up.
Right.
The classic New World Order. Or
Nazi bird.
Just Nazi bird, So that was a thing I thought I'd point out. So one of the people who commented on the video said that very popular story. People are very interested. But as far as we can tell, he's just back on the news and totally dark. Somebody got killed near him. Somebody got killed who he was working with. It was like a murder. It's like a murder suicide. He killed his family and killed himself.
What's his name?
They were working on a project. Hold on, I'll tell you. You're like,
interesting.
Why didn't you say that the first time?
We got to do research on it. That's why.
So he was working on something called the Gray State.
Okay.
He was attached to the project. Let me see. Hold on. Swan interviews co-creator actor Danny Mason. Okay, in this, there's a video.
His last name is Mason.
Mason, yeah, Danny Mason. Yeah, there's a place around here called the Mason Bar. It freaked me out. People, though, when I would say my name's Nathan over the phone, people would think I said Mason a lot, and I was like, that's weird. I don't know why I thought that, but nobody ever thinks that anymore. Okay, so anyway, he did an so apparently things came to a halt on this movie, Gray State, which is like about not a post-apocalyptic, but like FEMA camps, martial law, all this stuff. That's what it was going to be about. Well, let me open this here. This is from Veterans Today, basically Journal for the Clandestine Community. David Crowley, Army veteran and Gray State movie director, and family found dead. This was way back in January 2015.
Oh, wow.
Says many of his followers suspect murder. And here's the trailer. I haven't even looked at it, to be honest.
For the movie.
For the Gray, right, this project that got put on hold.
Oh, I remember this. I remember this, okay.
Who Swan was loosely attached to, apparently. So, you want to watch this?
Very
I can turn it up.
Yeah, we can watch it. And the movie never came out?
No, because the director and producer killed his family, apparently. Oh, there you go.
I remember hearing about this. That's crazy too, because it looks like the movie is done.
They spent a bunch of money making this, basically. They didn't make a movie and make a trailer from the movie. They
Gotcha.
just made a trailer.
And Ben was involved in this trailer?
I guess. He is in a making of, from what I understand, there's like a making of video where he's in there interviewing the guy that ended up killing his families, allegedly.
Got you.
So I'll make sure to cite that again when we go back. But yeah, wow, this is crazy war stuff too.
Yeah, it's insane.
Oh my God, people are just getting smoked. I don't need to see that. Warning graphic. Anyway.
A little too late.
So, okay. So, going dark was used. Okay, and this is related to going dark too, using the slogan "going dark" or the phrase "going dark" was used as a slogan to promote financial support for a movie known as Gray State, which we just saw the thing for.
Mm-hmm.
Swan interviews co-creator actor Danny Mason in the above link. So I guess if I clicked on it, it would have Ben Swan interviewing the guy. Oh, video is unavailable. Okay. Interesting. So Ben Swan apparently was attached to this project, and I'm looking at what this guy's research showed on Twitter. And the film concept started about 6 years ago. So he's thinking that. Anyway, this is a conspiracy theory. You could say, because it's a theory about this being some kind of a scam, I think, involving Ben Swan pulling a scam. But I can't say one way or the other. All I can say is that if that video exists of Swan being connected to Gray State and this guy killing his family, supposedly, I don't know. You know, one thing is with I was thinking, though, with that guy Braverman going to work for Google and Google breaking up with the Podestas, I wonder, I had this feeling back in the day. I was like, we're going to have some powerful people in the shadows, on our side at some point. It's not just going to be bad guys that have all the money and stuff. At some point, we're going to have people on our side. And I wonder if Google, I just wonder, because the video, the YouTube thing, they could shut that down whenever they want. Like, they could make sure nobody ever saw videos.
Yeah, I agree. That would be that. If they wanted to just put out the news that they wanted people to believe, they would get rid of YouTube. Because YouTube could just jimmy it and not tell anybody, Right. And the fact that it's the only site that runs even decently when you're watching videos, I don't know if that's for everybody else. If I bring up any other website, the videos just don't play. They're slow. But YouTube seems to work great. So.
Well, and what I'm saying in relation to that is they allow us to cover this stuff. So I wonder if, maybe with Schmidt breaking up with the Podestas, like maybe there's some movement, maybe like the Pizzagate thing seems like it's picking up steam with this Ben Swan story. People are really interested in this, Yeah,
I just think they've had enough time to sweep things under the rug. That's what it seems like they always are able to do, because they just need that little stall time to where, any kind of evidence now is going to be gone. You need to. We might be jaded, though.
Like I'm thinking about it. Like think about it. Think it as like how we were before we knew what was going on. Like this guy reports on Pizzagate, which you've heard about. He's the only guy in the news. You see him do it. People talk about it, and then he really gets pulled off. I mean, then shit happens, like for real, kind of.
Right.
Where he disappears from. You don't think maybe that's a little more than, where people are like, oh wow, that is messed up.
Are you
like more than usual?
Yeah, I do. I think that there's more real things than most people think are going on.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people want to chalk everything up to, a hoax, or chalk everything up to a tool for power and control. But I think that there's some factions that are not all in agreement. And, that's when you get these real kind of events where, maybe this guy was just trying to be a real journalist and do real reporting, and he's finding out the hard way that that's not what they want.
Well, and what I'm saying, and that's a good point. But what I'm saying is, I wonder if stuff's going to break through a little bit. Like it would be weird. Like if I don't know.
Well,
like if something happened to Ben Swan now, so many people know about
Correct.
it.
Correct. Okay, I get what you're saying. But who's going to come forward now and do a report on Pizzagate from the mainstream media after they just seen what happened to him?
Well, nobody from the mainstream media, but the rest of us, I guess, have to step up and because people want to know about it still, and I think there are enough people watching YouTube that it could even with what I see people talking about Pizzagate on Zero Hedge on unrelated articles,
right?
Making jokes about Podesta and stuff. I feel like the word's kind of like it's kind of out on that. Like people are really interested.
I just think there's a huge amount of people that we don't reach, And by that I mean, like, I'll just say my mother for example. But I think she
Sure.
represents a huge group, which is the group that watches your mainstream media, the group that reads the newspaper, the group that believes anything that NBC, Fox, CBS, whatever they say is the truth. And I think that percentage of people is a lot more than we would like to know. I don't think that enough people are watching YouTube to get their news, which is probably a pretty good idea considering most of the channels are just repeating what the mainstream media is saying anyway. But I mean, there is a group of people that is awake and is starting to see the truth, but I just don't know if it's big enough to make a difference. So I think when you're going to make a break on like a Pizzagate, it needs to come from somebody who the mainstream will see and accept. I mean, yeah, we can do great video after video after video on YouTube, but we're really preaching to the choir. We're really reaching the people that already know that that's going on, and that's such a small percentage. And I could be wrong. I'm not saying that it's not worth doing. You want to do it because if we can move from 8% of people to 12% of people, you want to do that. But to get a overwhelming amount of people that are marching in the streets and protesting because these people are still in positions of power, I don't know if I see that happening right yet.
Yeah, well, all I'm saying is that I think with stuff like Pizzagate, for example, but other things too, because people call in when they call in my show. It's it's a lot of people say their families are coming around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That they're willing to admit some things are bullshit on TV that they wouldn't before. A lot of people are saying that. And it's not necessarily about people who actually get their information from YouTube, which I agree is, relatively speaking, even if you get 1 million views a video, it's a small amount of people. Take the most popular person on YouTube, PewDiePie, and 95% of the people in the country have never seen one of his videos, I assume.
I thought it was Zach Hubbard. Zach Hubbard.
What's that?
Zach Hubbard's brought the most truth of anybody on YouTube.
Yeah, well, I was thinking of the most popular person.
Oh, popular. Okay, gotcha.
On all of YouTube, the most views, even if you got 3-5 million views, like Project Veritas, very few people know about you, but it changes the conversation. And I think we're seeing some of that stuff. So,
yeah, I don't disagree with that. I've seen the same thing. In fact, even since, I started doing this, my mom has changed a ton in things that she would believe. In fact, I think if you asked her 2 years ago if she had any doubts about 9/11, she would say absolutely not. And today she would say absolutely. So, I mean, that alone is a huge step in the right direction. So,
yeah, my dad says he says he might believe me about the apocalypse now. He was like, that's the one prediction of yours now. He started talking about, I started talking about food, to store up. He was like, oh, it'd have to be canned food. And I was like, oh, he's really thinking about it. He's really thinking about prepping.
Well, yeah, I have a family relative that's an engineer, and he was absolutely not about anything 9/11. Said no, engineers, they ask questions. I would have heard about this. My friends would have said something, and so I asked him about the cameras at the Pentagon, and said, that's the most protected place that there is in the world, and we'd have no camera shot of any plane hitting that building. And he kind of, okay, all right. And then I told him about the book Where'd the Towers Go by Judy Wood, and he said he hadn't heard of it, and I said, well, will you read it if I give it to you? And he said, yeah, I'll read it. He's a big reader. So I sent him the book, and he read the whole thing in about 2 weeks and sent it back and just said, okay, I read the book and I see what everybody's saying, but it's just conjecture to me. It's just not, but I can tell he's changed. It
just takes time.
Yeah, it's just that seed that's sowed that, hopefully, yeah, so I think everybody should be doing that. I get a lot of emails from people saying, hey, how do I wake up my family? How do I wake up my friends? I try and talk to them about it, and they won't listen to me. And I just say, just say it once, and that's it. Because I don't know about you with 9/11. Did it take somebody beating you over the head with it, or was it more?
I had to find it myself. I would totally just tell people they were idiots when they told me about it. But eventually, I read something about Building 7, and
Right.
First thing is you start going on these websites, and you're like, this is incredible. This website sucks. It's
Right.
like shitty font or whatever. But then I'm reading it, and I'm like, oh, this seems seems like a reasonable person.
Right. And you're
How
like,
could
if
they
this
be
is true,
saying
then
stuff
something's
like
up.
that? And that was about building 7, and it was like, just how could the building have fallen this way,
Right.
with the scientifically speaking and stuff. And then finally there was a video that put me over the top for that. So
Yeah, I was the same way. I mean, I told my friend he was an idiot when he told me, but I think he sowed the seed because it was
right.
a couple months after that I just happened to be at the computer one night and just typed in, 9/11 conspiracy theory or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And then from there it was all uphill or downhill, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and I had some other advice for when you're trying to tell somebody, figure out what they're into, like what their politics are, and relate to them something about that,
Mhm.
So if they're not into war, talk about what's going on in the war that they're not telling you about in the press. Or if they're a liberal, talk to them about the Fed, now that they're pissed off about Trump, try to get them on the right topic. But rather than hitting them over the head with a flat earth, for example,
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
or even 9/11 or Sandy Hook, although those are easier because there's stuff you can show people in about 5 minutes where they should have questions, if they'll take 5 minutes. But that's what I advise. Relate to people on what they're interested in.
Right. And that's what it
Don't
took
try
with my
to,
engineer friend was actually coming from a standpoint of, here's a book written by a scientist, and when did that happen? That was weird.
I don't know. It just must have just happened because they were talking about it. Just came up in the chat.
Oh,
You should be
hopefully it
fixed
wasn't
on it.
that long. Okay, sorry, I must have dragged it. Can you lock that? I wonder if you can lock that. Anyway, so Bitcoin's at $1,013 now, and real quick, kind of what happened with me is I was real into Bitcoin, was pushing it real hard, and we ran into a hoax, or not a hoax, or a scammer who actually stole some money from somebody that had read one of my articles about this guy, and so he basically runs a Bitcoin network to where he's stealing people's money. And this is why I kind of got out of Bitcoin, is I realized this is a scary thing to get people introduced to, because if somebody were to start putting their life savings into it or were to be careless, you can lose everything in a second. And so I kind of stopped promoting it. But I do think it is the future. I think it's the future of everything, the future way that we vote, the future of banking, the future of basically everything is the blockchain, which is, a community run or a community based system to where there is no hierarchy. There is no, there is no Federal Reserve. It's basically a collection of everyone who is the bookkeepers who, makes up the network. So I do want to introduce it again and just get people to understand you have to be very safe. You have to be very clear about what you're doing and be very smart. Don't put all your money in there and put it in one wallet, because if you, it's not like any other site. It's not like a website to where if you lose your password, you can just hit forgot password and they'll email it to you. If you lose your private key on a Bitcoin address, you've lost it. It's pretty much gone. So you really want to just be careful. But I do think it's the better way to handle money. For instance, there's a super chat function, I think, tonight on the chat, if I remember right. And the super chat function is something you can pay money to have your chat go up higher. But Google takes 30% of that money. Well, that's just not what we believe that, Google gets plenty of money. I don't think that they need to be taking 30% of creators. So what Bitcoin allows is money transferring that is anonymous, number one. For instance, if I want to send my sister $1,000, then, that should be between me and my sister. There's no reason why anybody else should know that transaction even took place, because it's a personal, private transaction of transferring funds from between me and my sister. What Bitcoin allows is that transfer to take place anonymously and for a very, very low fee, around 3 cents. Actually, I think it might be 6 cents right now. So it presents a unique opportunity for people to move money. Also, if you have people in other countries, it's money that can be spent anywhere. And it's fairly, it's been stable, so it's a good thing. So anyway, this site here is called Preve.com. You can go there and get the price of it. If you wanted to buy Bitcoin, it's up to you how you want to go about it. There's quite a few different ways. You can go to Coinbase.com, though. The thing about Coinbase that's a little bit different is they are part of the United States, and whenever you're dealing with any kind of banking entity in the United States, they have to go by know your customer rules or laws, meaning that if you're going to buy and sell Bitcoin from this website, you'll eventually have to give your information, your ID, and that's up to you. If you feel okay doing that, I don't think that there's a problem. I'm signed up here. There's not
too.
You are too? Yeah. So, it's not a problem if you're not planning on buying drugs from the dark net or something. They might shut down your account if they find out you're doing things like that. But there's a lot of little places too that are not. Maybe they're based out of the country or something. So you just have to be careful about what you're doing with it. But basically, if you go to Coinbase and it's free, you can just sign up and get a account. And I'm just going to log in here real quick. 1 second. And
make sure you hit show password.
Yes, no, I won't do that. I'll try and keep that down.
Why don't you change the screen so that you don't show people your?
It's not my password. You see the stars? You can't see that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, no.
I just want to make sure. I'm real serious about security.
Well, yeah, me too, and that's what I was just going to say. Always employ these two-factor authorizations when you're dealing with Bitcoin or any website that offers it. Basically, you can get a text on your phone as soon as you log in. So I'm going to my phone real quick, and this way, somebody can't just log in if they get your password. They're going to get this, and unless they have your phone, also, they're not going to be able to get in. So
yeah. Snowden says to do that too.
Yeah, I think it's
Jeran's not the only one.
No, I'm not the only one. So you'll see, in this account right here, I have $14.45, but I'm just going to show you. Oh, I'm rich. No, I don't have this amount. Sorry, that's how much Bitcoin's worth.
I'm envious.
But in this account, once you get in here, you can actually go through and see merchants, so you can take payments. For instance, if somebody wanted to pay me, they can just go to Coinbase.com. I think it's Jeranism or Jeran, I don't remember. Jeranism, I think.
Oh, it's that easy?
Yeah, so you just go Jeranism right here, and you'll see a thing pop up here where it says, thanks so much, and somebody can just deposit Bitcoin right here. They would have done it. They would have given me however much they want, and the fee is incredibly cheap, like 6 cents. So when you're talking about money order, MoneyGram, PayPal, 2%, 3%, nothing beats Bitcoin right now, and it won't ever, because of the way it's
as far as transaction fees.
Correct.
Yes. But
and
your dollar might be worth $5 tomorrow,
Correct.
or it might be worth 50 cents.
Yeah, and again, the way that the Bitcoin has a value, because a lot of people say, "Where's my physical coin?" And you don't have a physical coin. It's the value is made up of the people and what they see its value being. So it's kind of, it's everybody has a Bitcoin. So I can't see it ever. It wouldn't crash, meaning it can't crash to $0 or $5 tomorrow, because everyone who owns a Bitcoin has more invested in them than that. So you have to kind of look at it in a way of, could it go down to $500 or $600 tomorrow? Sure. One of these big, like Coinbase, could get attacked and get a bunch of money stolen, to where a bunch of people had money in there, that it gets stolen from them. And, I'll talk about that a little bit, but you never want to keep a lot of money. That's why I only have $15 in here. It's for kind of spending. And there's ways to actually use what's called paper wallets. And that's what I have my other funds in, which is like a savings. Basically, you print on a piece of paper your private key and your public key and the amount that's on there, and you store it somewhere in your house, maybe 2 copies in case there's a flood or something, because that is my money. Nobody can steal it. They would have to guess my private key, which is impossible. And I've got that value on that paper unless there's a fire or flood or something like that. So that's
it's like having a numbered Swiss bank account.
Correct.
Kinda.
Exactly. Because there's no way that somebody can get a hold of that. But again, if I lose it, it's gone. There's just, it's not going to come back. You can't guess the coin, the private number or anything. So if we take this 1445 and we'll just go to another site real quick. So if you want to find an easier way to get a wallet, you can actually go to the blockchain.info. This is where I usually go here for the ledger, and I'll show you that in a second. But you can also just go wallet, and you'll see here it says new users create a free Bitcoin wallet. So you can just jump on. You'll have to put your email address. I don't know if it'll let me reuse one, but we'll try it. So we're going to go see. And then about passwords too. You want to make sure in this day and age, and I've been telling people this for a long time, I use LastPass. I would never tell somebody what to use, but LastPass is awesome because you can generate any digit password that you want when you start a site. So for instance, right here, if I go up to my LastPass little button here and I go to generate password, it's going to generate a secure password. See it up here? And so I could just, cycle through these. I could say, well, I want the length to be 21 characters, cycle through. So this will give me a password that can never be guessed. If you've ever looked at, I can't remember the name of this site, but there's a password, I don't know what this is called, password security site. I don't remember the name of it. Maybe I'll find it. But basically, you can put in your password. There it is. howsecureismypassword.net. So if you put in just a password like, let's say you've got a password that goes across the bottom of the keyboard. So ZXCVBNM. Now, a lot of people would think that that is a good password. You just did a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-letter password. If somebody has the equipment to run that through and to bulk attack your account, it would be cracked instantly. That's how fast computers are. The computer would just, by a snap of a finger, run through so many passwords that it would hit ZXCVBNM in a second. So you're gone. So this is why I really push, and I did with my articles, I push huge passwords. Most of mine are, anywhere from 15 to 20 digits because it's exponential, meaning as I add another letter, now it's 5 seconds. Add another letter, maybe add a symbol, now add a capital letter, now add a number. Now we're at 3 million years. So just adding that additional 5-6 digits, now it would take a computer, the fastest computer that they have right now, would take that 3 million years to guess the password that I just put in. So people need to realize that, because I think a lot of people have a lot of shitty passwords where it's just, my dog Sally or whatever, and if you put in anything like that, Nathan, give me something that would be a password you may have used at some site in the past.
Some version of Big Nate, or I can't say my passwords. I don't have any, thank God, that use that. But that was a terrible question to ask. The thing,
I said sometime in the past.
The point of this is like, even I use KeyPass for my password keeper.
Oh, you do use one too.
Which is, huh?
I said, you use a keyword, a
password password thing where you just use one master keyword and it has its own 2-factor thing. It's stored completely offline. You can store it on a thumb drive.
Correct.
I keep mine where I can access it. It has an app for the iPhone. It's totally free. It's open source. It's a little bit cumbersome to use, especially with the iPhone, but it's worth it. I make 21 character, 23 character passwords because it doesn't matter. You're not going to know the damn thing anyway. But the point is, though, with what you're saying with length, even if all you do is use lowercase and uppercase letters, if you just choose a long phrase, that's still a much better password than doing like an 8-character password with all the crazy characters. The characters don't make as much difference as extra characters, because it's like you said, it's exponential. Every one you add, that's another 26 times more,
Yeah, exactly. So
just with lowercase letters.
Yeah, even if you just went lowercase letters and we did something like weekdays are fun, just that is going to get you up a little bit. But it's only 51 years, and so even that is not enough. But you add now like 2 numbers, and we're at 6 million years. That's where just trying to get people to realize how important passwords are, because right now, you may not think that people are out there trying to break into your password, but as computers get faster and it's going to be something that people are going to go after your bank account. So if your bank password is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 digits, I would change it as soon as you can. So anyway,
don't use the same password anywhere.
Never.
You know, that's the thing people do wrong and your email is your most important. Whatever your Google account is or wherever you get your email, make sure that's 2-factor like right now if it's not already. Because once somebody has your email, it's over. You're done. Basically.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I'm just typing this in real quick so you can see. And what was I going to say? Sorry.
I don't know. I screwed you up.
No, that's right. I was just doing this. So anyway, once you sign into this, hello, wake up, move this thing. So once we're signing into this account, hello. Oh, I have to check this box. That would help. Okay, so once you get this is again the free site called blockchain.info. You'll get this wallet identifier number, and you can all copy that down if you want. Believe me, I'm not going to put any money in there. And it says, thank you for joining us. Get started. And so now you're your own bank. Basically, you've got your own account here. You've got your number. You've memorized your password because you can simply forget that password and anything you put in this account will be gone. So you can go to settings and actually add some security features like a backup phrase that you can store somewhere else, a password hint if you want a hint if you lose your password, another password. You can do 2-step verification like we did at the beginning, which you just hit enable and then scan it with your phone and boom, anytime you get into this account. Another cool thing about it too is like on Coinbase, anytime somebody sends money from my Coinbase account, they have to put in the 2-factor authorization so that you can set up that in security. And basically, let's say that we wanted to send this some money. So we would hit receive and you're going to get this Bitcoin code here. And this anybody can see. This is a receive address, meaning everyone can look at it all they want right now because all they can do to it is they can send me money. So please copy it down and send me whatever Bitcoin you want. But this is a receive public key. So when you go over to Coinbase now, I could go to send money. I'm going to send for my 1445. You simply drop that Bitcoin address we just picked up there for the amount. I'll put in 0.0001 or we'll say 001. What is that, like $1? I think it's $1. And so then you can write a note, hi me, and you can send that off. So we'll see send funds. Now it's going to ask me my 2-step authorization. And let me get there, do that. And so you'll see it is actually easy. And this is not something you'd have to worry about as far as, if we kept the password that I just did on that one account and we've got my Coinbase secure, you're pretty secure on everything that we're doing here. There's nothing that you would really be scared of. But again, you just need to be careful about ever giving away your password or somebody getting a hold of that or your phone with a two-factor authorization. So there we go. So it says send complete. You sent $1.02 to this address here. Now, even as you guys just watched, there's still nothing you can do to get into this account. And if we refresh this, it should take a second and we'll see it actually come across. Okay, now I have to put in my password. 1 second.
I think we lost our audience.
Why, they went to sleep?
Well,
Well,
I don't know. I
Maybe
don't
they
know
did.
for sure. I'm interested.
Yeah, so anyway, we're just okay, get out of the way. No. Okay, so you can go to what's called the blockchain, and people should start looking into it. It is the future because it's going to be, we don't want the Federal Reserve and things like that, and this is what can help get rid of it. Because if people all adopted Bitcoin, it's a universal money. It's got value. It's and let's see here. So this is the blockchain. When you send money, like for instance here, you can usually see this password, this receive address here. If you take that and put it into the blockchain explorer, basically you just go to this little search bar here and you can drop any address in there. And what it's going to do is it's going to bring up the history of that address. What happened? Unrecognized search. What did I do? Oh, there's a period at the bottom. Sorry. There you go.
People are getting mad at you in the comments.
Are they?
I think they're bored. But I will say
so I'm
that
done
the
anyway.
rest of this is a good idea. We should you know what you should do? Make tutorial videos. And
Well,
then
obviously
sell them
people
on
aren't
the show.
interested in it.
No, they're interested. It's just
Well,
no. But I think the philosophy though is the important thing, right?
Yep.
Getting out of the system and thinking about it when you send money and stuff. Even when you get money from the ATM, those little fees and stuff, man, they get you, and any way you can avoid people skimming from you, you know.
Absolutely. And
Take
then
advantage.
the last thing would be, and for you, I know you wanted to know, Nathan, was if you go to, let me bring up this account. If you go to a site called Bitcoin and Litecoin donation, it's called Coin Widget. And basically all you do from there is head down to this little expand box here. And this is a script you can put on your website. And all you do is you take the exact script that they give you and just change this part that says wallet address. So you would put in right here the wallet address we just had that was a receive. And that's it. You basically...
You know what I would do, though? I would just do that Coinbase thing.
I think
where
it's
you just
easiest.
do that link, you know?
When you sign up
How
for
easy is
Coinbase, you just go to, I think it's under tools or something, that you are able to change your little name. You know, so mine
that's
says
great.
Jeran.
That's all I'm going to do. That's great. That solves the problem right away. Like if you go into like MailChimp, you just add a button, put Bitcoin on there, and put the link, and you're done.
Yep.
That's great.
So that's
all
easy.
right, man. I gotta get going. I like the lesson on Bitcoin, though.
Good.
Are we done with the show, or I can leave you too?
No, that's it. We're done. I don't have anything else.
Hey, thanks. That was great. Hey, good to see everybody.
Yeah, it was great to see you guys. And I don't think there was anything else. Just be careful of who you spend your Bitcoin with, because again, and you can go, Nathan. I'll finish it off.
All right, man.
All right.
Hey, thanks.
Talk to you later. Just wanted to tell everybody, just be careful about who you spend your money with, and I'll just show you a site real quick that is an example. So the person that I ran into, unfortunately, is one of the people the person that owns this site here. It's just one of the sites, BitPlastic. And I'm giving you a warning right now, if you spend your money at this site, you have lost it. It is gone. Okay, this is a hacker. This is a scammer who's running this website, and this is a scam website. Here's the problem with Bitcoin. Is it cannot be tracked. So, well, it can be, but if somebody is careful about what they're doing, it may be impossible to track the actual owner of this site. So while it looks very real and it looks like you can do things here, if you go to this site and you drop money in this Bitcoin tumbler or this Bitcoin wallet, it is gone. So you really need to be careful about what sites you use. Now, if you did just do a little search for BitPlastic on the internet, you're going to be able to see BitPlastic scam on Reddit. What is BitPlastic? There's going to be a lot of stuff talking about complaints. So you just really need to do your research before you actually get involved in any of these sites. There's another one that he owns called BitArmored is another one, or BitLaundered. And so there's just sites that you may see and think, oh, these are great sites, I should go here. But you need to do your research. Go down and you'll see BitLaunder scam. So you want to just be careful about what you do with your money. If you want to really go to a good site, I know the owners of this site, go to Bad Bitcoin. What that is it's a big list of people that are terrible. So if you go to the bad list, you will see that there is a huge list of sites that have already been caught scamming people. And so if you go to the letter M, you'll see the one I had the unfortunate pleasure of dealing with, and that would be Michael Moriarty, which if you go down here and find them, you'll see somewhere that he's in here. So anyway, you just have to be, this is the website name, my bad. So if you go to like BitPlastic, like we said, so go here, and you'll find under B-I-T, where am I at here? Bit. Sorry, guys. But I think it's important if you are interested in Bitcoin. I don't see it now. I'll have to find out what's going on with this one. But any of his websites, BitArmored, BitPlastic. Am I just not seeing it? B-I-T. I don't know why this ends at B-R-R. Interesting. Here it is. Bit. My bad. There we go. So you'll see this Michael Moriarty is a known frauder. BitBing, BitBrowse, BitBuzzer. So there's a ton of sites that he owns. BitArmored. If you go to Michael Moriarty, you can actually get a story about him that actually I was involved in. So that was it. Basically, if you have any questions, you can ask me. Again, it's not something I really push, because I do know that there's a potential for basically what happened in this particular case. And the thing is that I interviewed this person as part of my job as the reporter for those sites. And when I interviewed him, I even did background check on him. Saw that he was a PhD from Stanford, according to LinkedIn. And so I felt fine with doing an interview, and he was a great interview. Everything went fine. Well, shortly after that, somebody who read the interview went and dropped $80,000 at one of these sites. And then all of a sudden, they couldn't get in contact with the owner of the site. So they contacted me and said, hey, what's going on? That guy you interviewed, I dropped $80,000 at his site. He hasn't got back to me. And so I was in contact with that person. Obviously, I interviewed them. And so then that took up about 8 months of my life trying to figure out what was going on and get that money back for the person who was stolen from it. It never happened. So, and now you've got people in the, in the YouTube world saying that I'm the one that stole that money, when I simply got caught up in the whole problem and was trying to be a good guy, because I felt bad for the guy. After somebody calls you and says, hey, I lost $80,000 because you interviewed somebody, then you feel personally involved and responsible. And so we went after him. We did all that we could, but he's still out there. Obviously, all these sites that you see here are still running. So that's why I tell people to be careful. That's why I got out of the business, because I said, you know what, this is something that's I wasn't sure people were ready for. It's not something I can tell my mom to get involved with, because she would just find a site that says it accepts Bitcoin and she would probably drop it there and it'd be gone. So that is pretty much it with Bitcoin. But again, if you look at this price, you can see that it's got value. I don't remember how long ago it was that it was at 200. Not very long ago, maybe a year ago. I don't even know. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to cover. I think that's it. Let me see if I bring up the chat here real quick and see if there's any questions. Alrighty. Anybody? Somebody asked, why would you push Bitcoin then? Well, because I think it's good for small transactions between people. Meaning that if I send Bob $300, probably the best way for me to do that would be through Bitcoin, because I know Bob understands Bitcoin. I know he knows how to take care of it, be careful with it. I know how to spend Bitcoin. I know how to take care of it and be careful with it. And it's much cheaper, and it's anonymous, and it's cheap. So I mean, all those things combined make it a good option for people. And then also, if you want to get into, and I'm not saying, hey, you guys need to do this, but if it comes down to we want to tip people that are doing good YouTube videos, or we want to tip people that are writing good articles that we enjoy, and we want to kind of help promote, mom and pop stores, things like that. On a small level, Bitcoin is awesome. There's some sites, and I don't know how many of them are still left, but sites where you can just drop, say, 5 cents into, you're reading an article, you like the author, you drop 5 cents in. You can't do that right now with anything else. You can't pay 5 cents to somebody through PayPal, because it's going to cost you, $1.29 in a fee. So there's stuff that Bitcoin allows that nobody else even comes close. It's got such a low fee. And again, try and send money to another country. If you're going to send money to, Mexico, I think it costs like $30 to send $100, something ridiculous. Whereas if you send Bitcoin, it costs 6 cents. So, and I think that is the price. I don't want to keep saying that if it's not. So you can go to blockchain.info and actually see what the fee is, but it's really cheap. It might be up to 10 cents or something. I don't know. So you can see what happens on this blockchain is this is just a running tabulation of every single transaction that's happening right now. So see, somebody spent 19 Bitcoins, 5 Bitcoins, 0.8 Bitcoins, 19. This is just a running transaction of every single spend that's going on. And you can pop into any of these, and if you want to see what kind of fee. Okay, so for instance, this person spent, looks like they spent a whole Bitcoin. Okay, so 1 Bitcoin was taken from this address and split into 2. 0.5 Bitcoins going here, 0.4 Bitcoins going here. And the total fee was 0.0001469. So, and we got 0.922. So just so we can see what that actually is on that money. Come on. And then we'll be done. So the fee was 14 cents on a send of 0.99, I think, Bitcoin. So, it was 14 cents on $1,000. So, good luck finding that anywhere. If you send $1,000 to Mexico, it's going to cost you 200. I'm guessing. I don't even know what it would be, but it would be a lot. Let me check chat one more time, and then I'm done. Yeah, I don't agree with PayPal either. I don't think it's safe. So if you can ever get away from that, then I would. And I believe that's it. If the Earth was flat, we would all fall off. Never heard that one before. Interesting. Don't know why I haven't heard that one. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me yet again. And we will see you on Sunday for the next show. That'll be Globebusters, noon on the Globebusters channel. We've got Wide Awake on the show with us, talking about some of his awesome video footage from down there in Florida. And then we'll see you after that for more fun on this flat plane. Take care of each other. Don't lie to each other. And, in case I didn't mention it, open your mind, because there's truth inside. Till next time, guys. Peace.
And
don't you think this is like orchestrated by the government, by the left? Because
go ahead.
Well, how else do you? I mean, when these cops backed down yesterday, I couldn't believe it. It's like, it seems like when the cops should stand up and do what they should do as cops, they don't. And when they absolutely should step down, they don't. So it's like they can never get their shit right. And this is one case yesterday. I mean, you've got people attacking a school, throwing. That's when you need to come in there and you clean up that crowd. They're no longer peacefully protesting. That is now destruction of property and person. They're going to hurt somebody. So it just baffles me. That's when the cops go in and hide behind the glass doors and don't do anything. But when, it's just, it's crazy. This world is upside down.
Yeah. And maybe we should play what this lady said, because it's all, it was pretty interesting stuff, especially considering what happened the next day. Especially with the violence I saw at Cal Berkeley. Do you have video of some of the
I do. I have
violence
it ready
from Cal Berkeley? Let's take a look at that.
You want to play her first or the Berkeley first?
Okay. Whatever you think.
Go ahead.
I just wanted people to know what happened.
I'm on your screen, so we'll go ahead and play that.
Okay, we'll do that. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So I just wanted to show you, how serious the protest was. That starts, I think that's this one. Let's see. No. Okay. This is them burning the Confederate flag. They have to burn the Confederate flag, and that's okay. Meanwhile, burning an American flag is not. Oh, gosh darn.
Makes no sense. You're there.
This is it right here. So this is where they're at the, this is when they go marching. So down here, and then you can see how serious it is. I mean, look at the kids.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is funny. Look at this guy's sign. It says feminism is cancer crossed out healing.
Oh boy.
Do you think that guy's in there as a prank?
I have no idea why you would.
He's got to be, right?
Yeah, it doesn't fit.
And this other sign, I think it must be CNN, that these kids dressed up like ninjas, are starting stuff. And the other thing that concerns me, sorry, this is what I was getting into, and sorry to the audience. I've been, I got stuff going on.
They're very forgiving people.
Oh, good. That's good. Thank goodness. So the problem is the language they use. And I was thinking to myself, Susan Rice, Obama's ambassador in the Obama administration, who was going to be recommended for, what was it? Was it Secretary of State? She was actually, I think she was actually going to be nominated for state. I can't remember. But Susan Rice tweeted out something or retweeted something that said they're putting a Nazi on the National Security Council, and referring to Steve Bannon.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, calling somebody a Nazi who, Steve Bannon, as far as we can tell, Steve Bannon, who used to be an editor at Breitbart, or the main guy at Breitbart, they say is a white nationalist, and they're calling him a Nazi. But the only thing I found that he said anti-Semitic is that his wife, or his ex-wife, in a deposition for their divorce trial, said that when they were looking at schools, that he said that he didn't want his kid going to school with a bunch of whiny Jews. And that was kind of the extent of his anti-Semitism.
Mm-hmm.
And they call him a Nazi, right? And they call him a Nazi. And then my point is, then you go to this rally and they say, kill all the Nazis, kill all the Nazis. And there's signs that say alt-right equals Nazi. And then the guy I have a funny thing. Actually, you know what? I can show something that's pretty funny.
All right.
I made some art. Hold on. Let me take a picture of it. This is kind of the theme of what I'm working on. So I thought it was really messed up. Like, I think you could almost say that what they're doing is hate speech and it's inciting violence.
Absolutely.
Calling somebody a Nazi who worked at Breitbart being a place, Andrew Breitbart being Jewish.
I know that I don't understand. I know that I don't know. I take you by my hand. But I don't know where to go.
What it is, welcome to AltNews Tonight, where we talk about the news and mix in some other interesting tidbits, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. I'm your host, Jeran, and with me, as always, my co-host, Nathan Stoltman. Nathan, what's going on?
It's the Trumpocalypse.
It is.
I would say.
It is.
That's the main thing that's going on right now. I was totally, I predicted it.
It's the end of the world as we know it.
Kill all the Nazis. Kill all the Nazis.
Oh, boy. Hasn't it been fun? What happened to free speech?
Well, that's the funny thing in my interview. Oh, I thought you were for free speech. I don't know. I don't know what and then they're there at these protests. I'm going to do another piece on the protests and that they're organized, I believe. Sorry, I already lost track of my train of thought, but sorry, I lost track.
No
Jeran.
problem.
What was I on?
You were talking about free speech, and you're going to do a piece on, I think, what happened at UC Berkeley.
Oh, well, yeah, about these kids and these, there's agitators in there, and it was reported on the other co-founder being Jewish, the freaking thing having been founded in Israel, and meanwhile they're Nazis and white nationalists and stuff. Let me.
What would be the definition of Nazi? What would that be?
Yeah, that's the great question. Here, I'm going to share my entire screen. There. Here, look at this. This is what I made. And this is some of the signs. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. So these are signs from the event I was at. These were really there, and I just cut them out. I would punch a neo-Nazi. I tell you what, Hank down there, Alt-right is Nazism in disguise, and that's Milo up there, next to Susan Rice, Ambassador Rice. That's Milo, and then this is Steve Bannon. I put a Hitler mustache on him. But, when you're using that kind of language, then in my video, then you get the kind of violence we saw at California, Berkeley, with violence playing in the background. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And it's so sad because they're calling, they're shutting down free speech and then calling others fascists, which is just
that. Well, that's the thing. And the weird thing is at this, so I was at the protest. For everybody who doesn't know, I was at the protest the day before the UC Berkeley protest.
Right.
My protest looked, well, maybe I should show a scene from that. My protest was a lot more tame.
Much more.
Actually, what's that? Go ahead.
I said much more.
Much more tame. Actually, here we go. I'll have to make sure the volume goes through the right thing. But this is what I was going to play in my thing here.
Kill every Nazi! Kill Nazis? I don't know. Free speech, right? I mean, yeah. Tonight's about free speech. I'm going to do the fuck I want, man.
I'm so confused.
Kill. Look, there's the signs. See?
So I don't get
Right.
it. So you have somebody there who's saying kill all the Nazis and then saying free speech, but they're there protesting against somebody who's speaking because they don't like what they have to say.
The thing is I can't figure out what they're doing, and be covered by something. You see how the other sign says make racists? I don't know how it can say that. Hold on. Wait. Oh, those guys might be there as a prank. I mean, do you see those?
Well,
two
none of the
signs?
people that got arrested yesterday even went to the school. So,
Well, that's
why
the
I think these
thing.
are
When they
input.
interview this kid, he says he didn't go to the school here either.
Right. So I don't know where these guys are coming from or why they are there. And I just don't
Make
understand a
racist.
public school that, this country was founded on the First Amendment. So if Milo's coming by your school to talk and you don't like what he has to say, then you sit your ass at home and watch Jeopardy.
Or protest. No, it's okay. Come out.
Sure.
Protest. But for some reason, these kids are coming out to blow shit up. And I don't know what. I think they're just. I think that the liberals or the people that lost are going through the, part of the healing phase. They're going through the rage phase. They're going through the anger phase. And they don't know what to do, so they're just lashing out, I guess. And I think it's organized. I also do think it's organized, and there are agitators. That was one thing I was going to point out from this rally is look at the kids. They're all, they're not trying, but there are just a few leaders, that they follow. And that's how these kids can get led into this baloney. And I think agitators are. Like there are people, these handlers kind of, this guy in the sweater, see how his clothes don't fit in? He looks kind of like he's a roughneck compared to these other kids.
Yeah.
And then these other kids, look at them. They're not trying to do anything. That's why if I had known Berkeley was going to freaking light up.
That would have been fun to be at.
I should have gone. And I was going to, you know what? I was going to come up there.
Tape.
I didn't even know he was speaking. But anyway, so this is my point is the kids didn't seem that wound up to me. So when I saw Cal Berkeley, I was like, that's got to be organized. Oh, and I saw that one picture where there's the fire and they're holding the banner behind it. And the banner says what? This